It's human nature to push the limit of almost everything we do. Bigger, better, stronger, faster! But sometimes it takes a set of incredible kahunas to push those boundaries to the point where our lives are on the line. Quite literally in some cases. So let's take a look at a couple of athletes with some real heavy balls of steel. Meet Vittorio Brumati, the world record holder for the most consecutive bicycle backwheel pogo hops, while on top of this 143-meter high rock summit. But this death-defying stunt back in 2010 was only the beginning for Vittorio. His freestyle skills take him and his bikes to heights around the world that bikes were, quite frankly, not made for. For example, take a look at this video shot at the very top of the 656-foot-tall Henninger Turm in Frankfurt. That's about the same height as Trump Tower. And if that doesn't have your heart racing, this video of him bunny hopping his way over the peaks of the Curvati mountain in Italy might just do it, with drops on either side of him over 1,000 feet. He doesn't so much walk the fine line as ride it. Now, if you were holding your breath before, just wait until you hear about Herbert Niche. Herbert is a world record freediver, able to hold his breath underwater for an incredible 9 minutes at a time. His extreme breath-holding technique shown here allows him to descend to depths of over 400 feet without using any breathing equipment. That's as far down as a 37-story building is tall. At these kinds of depths, there are plenty of things that could kill him, but the main danger is water pressure. The increasing weight of seawater puts incredible strain on his body, like squeezing all the air out of a sponge. In 2012, Herbert made a dive that reached an unbelievable 800 feet. However, on his ascent, he suffered decompression sickness, which led to him having multiple strokes. But even that couldn't stop this incredible athlete. Following thorough rehabilitation, Herbert continues to freedive at incredible depths, which would take most people's breath away. When you think of snowboarding, do you imagine beautiful fresh snow and a nice clean slope? Or are you like Travis Rice, where your dream come true is an almost impossibly steep run, packed with trees, uncontrollably fast, and with perilous mountain peaks? As you can probably tell, Travis is considered to be one of the world's top 20 snowboarders, which means runs like this really set the bar for snowboard professionals the world over. You can see here that he's making a completely blind entrance into this sniper chute that heads into a sheer cliff face, and somehow doesn't manage to crash. Now, do you have a fear of small spaces or being trapped underwater? If so, I suggest you look away now. Cave diving is one of the most dangerous activities you can do. Just ask underwater explorer Andy Torbett. In an environment that offers no light, almost no room to move, and no air, I think most of us would give in to pure panic. But this is where Andy absolutely thrives, as you can see here. Not afraid of the impossibly cramped spaces, Andy has been responsible for navigating some of the most difficult cave networks on Earth, such as the Cave of Skulls, Scotland's deepest pothole, and the Millander pothole system. That's not to say he hasn't been terrifyingly stuck once or twice. There's a lot of equipment he's trying to cram through some of the smallest flooded caves on Earth, but I think I'll stay on the beach, thanks. Up till this point, we've seen people who push themselves to the limit as a sport. But what if it's your work? Meet the Streb Extreme Action Dance Company. These absolutely incredible athletes take the meaning of dance to a whole new level by including gigantic metal structures to dictate their entire team's choreography for live performances. And that's not all. Some tricks are centered around literally throwing themselves across the room, avoiding fast-moving objects like huge steel girders, and the most terrifying tricks of all, the ones relying on the exact precision of all their dance partners to ensure no one gets hurt, which is all of them. As with any sport, the more moving parts involved, the more dangerous everything becomes. So seeing how many moving parts there are here, and how fast they're all moving, that's an incredible amount of trust to be giving. Would you be able to trust your coworkers like that? Didn't think so. Now for the insane feat of Salvador Morales. Virtually no information exists about this man, with one exception. He once climbed a 330-foot-high frozen waterfall using only his hands. According to a video released in 2011, Salvador tackled the abominable ice waterfall Meshuge found in Odsal, Austria. Any climbing expert will tell you that trying to climb a sheer wall of ice without tools is akin to suicide.
Another video shows this mysterious madman effortlessly clamber up a second iced-over waterfall in the same region that's around 210 feet tall. Does Spider-Man have a new arch nemesis we should be worried about?
Now let's go back to someone more conventional. Say hello to Vince Reffitt. He's a skydiver, base jumper, and jetpack pilot. Did I say conventional? Sorry, it seems I meant downright ballsy. Vince has been piloting a Jetwing human jet propulsion prototype since 2015 and is one of the first people to ever use jetpack technology. The prototype he uses has top speeds of 407 kilometers per hour, but take a look as he navigates his way through an unimaginably narrow gap in Tiananmen Mountain, China. I don't think he's even breaking a sweat. With the tests they're doing, it's not hard to imagine the things that could go wrong. Especially if, for example, you're flying one within a few hundred feet of a Boeing 747 that's in the air. I'm amazed he can sit down with the size of those cojones. Remember how before we talked about how water pressure can be your worst enemy? Well, let's imagine that it comes crashing down on top of you all at once. Meet Rodrigo Koffler, a Brazilian-born daredevil who set the record for biggest wave ever surfed. Surfing is something millions of people love to do, and for a real good ride, you need a few feet of swell. However, this just wasn't enough for Rodrigo. Check out this footage of him breaking the world record by taking on an absolutely colossal 80-foot wave in Nazaré, Portugal in 2017. To surf a wave this big, you need to be towed into position with a rope and jet ski, as it's physically impossible to paddle at the same speed. Wiping out on one of these waves may hold you underwater for a minute or longer, so most big wave surfers can hold their breath for at least 3 minutes with ease. But this doesn't faze Rodrigo, who's continually on the hunt for even bigger and more terrifying waves. Surf's up, dudes! Let's keep this theme of extreme heights going as I introduce you to Alain Robert, aptly nicknamed French Spider-Man. He's a famous urban climber. Not just because he's managed some incredible feats, but because he tends to do so illegally. And a lot. Without using any conventional climbing equipment, the 57-year-old has scaled almost 60 landmarks across the globe with just his bare hands. Take a look as he ascends the office building of La Tour Totale in Courbevoie, which reaches an incredible 587 feet. Or something that's a little more recognizable, here he is scaling the Petronas Towers of Kuala Lumpur, which measure in at a height of 1,483 feet. And most unbelievably of all, the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building, which is a whopping 2,717 feet high. To make that even more impressive, he completed the climb at night. Despite having been arrested over 13 times for illegally climbing these behemoth towers, he continues to this day to find new buildings to scale. My fingers are crossed for London's The Shard. Talking of the famous daredevils amongst us, it'd be impossible not to mention Felix Baumgartner. You might recognize him from his incredible stunt back in 2012 called Project Stratos. This saw Felix hoisted via balloon to the insane height of 127,851 feet. That's about 3 times as tall as commercial planes usually fly. He broke the unofficial record for highest manned balloon flight. But that's not all. He then jumped, free-falling from his capsule in a specially designed pressure suit before breaking the speed of sound and parachuting to Earth. Let me repeat that. He fell so fast he broke the speed of sound. That's about 1,125 feet per second. How do people get this ballsy? But Felix has even more impressive records hidden up his sleeve. He's also set the world record for the world's lowest ever base jump at only 29 feet. By jumping from Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio de Janeiro back in 2007. Base jumping has a fatal injury rate that's 43 times higher than parachuting because there's such a short window in comparison to deploy the chute. Taking that to the next level with a jump so low proves there's definitely something heavy about Felix. If it's extreme speed that really gets your heart racing, then you're going to love Daniel Koffler. Daniel's passion lies in speed flying, a hybrid sport combining elements of paragliding and parachuting for low ground flights that give the rider incredible velocity. You can see here as Daniel effortlessly coasts over the jagged terrain of the Corinthians Mountains before swerving at breakneck speed through the rocky hillside less than a meter off the ground. And that's not the only stunt he pulls. I think my heart genuinely stopped when I saw this footage captured of a run he completed in Austria. Just 1 second and one mistake could be game over at any point. But Daniel is a seasoned pro at 42 years old and with 21 years of experience under his belt, meaning he's definitely no stranger to playing with gravity. It's time to prove it's not just guys that have balls. Of steel, that is. Meet Stephanie Millander, a self-taught contortionist and gymnast who likes living on the edge. Literally. Her insanely daring stunts see her balancing on every brink, tip, and peak she can find. And there's more. Have a look as she not only balances on the handles of Austria's stairway to nothingness, but fluidly moves the entire lower section of her body without the slightest fear of toppling over the edge. Known for outrageous stunts such as balancing impossibly on a variety of buildings and landmarks, Stephanie never seems to falter for a second. Not even in the face of extreme situations such as in this video where she reported she was balancing on pure compacted sand. I can't say whether it's skill or luck that means she's still alive, taking on even more extreme challenges, but it certainly puts a whole new level behind doing it for the gram. Influencers, take note. So which of these incredible athletes do you think has the heaviest set of steel balls? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.